reckless, young boy, come up off that neck into the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Foster, I had an epiphany, bro.
What's up?
Get your lick back, and we're playing Tampa Bay today.
Are
we sending a message?
Taunting them.
Are we sending a message here?
Hey.
I mean, we're 2-0 the last. I mean, we won 2 in a row against them. And here the theme song to the show is "Get Your Lick Back." What you gonna do?
Hey, I want to let you know something. I saw an interesting stat that there's only been 3 times in history where a team has played the 2 teams that they put out of the playoffs the year before in the first 2 games of the year, and all 3 of those teams made the Super Bowl. I just want to throw that out there. That's a fact. You can look that up. It's been stated, but
wow,
I meant to say it during the show, the NFC North show, but it's out there now.
Okay, I got thrown off from the norm. Welcome to Bleachers Speakers.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Joe, and I got my boy B Foster. Make sure you subscribe to Bleachers Speakers on YouTube and any of your podcast aggregators. You can find us anywhere that you can find an audio podcast. All you have to do is go into those platforms, and those are platforms like Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, and type in Bleachers to Speakers FFSN in the search. You will see a white, gray, and Honolulu blue type of logo. Bleachers to Speakers. Make sure you hit the notification bell or follow us, one or the other. I'm not sure which one is the proper term for it. But if you do that, whenever we drop, you'll get a notification. You'll hear our material and download those episodes. Foster, it is game day today, and we have Tampa Bay back-to-back games where we have put versus a team last year that we faced in the playoffs. And I must say, Tampa Bay looked kind of good last week.
Yeah.
And I expect a fight. I expect a fight. I think when you have a good season prior, you're not shocking anybody. People are circling this game as you got to get ready for this one. And I think other teams are going to really, really pay attention to facing the Lions. And it's not always been the case. It's the Lions, you just go in there and you just play. But now you can't do that because the Lions are cranking out victories, and it's been that way since I want to say go back to a season, not last season, but the season before when we went on that streak. So I think the NFL is on notice, and teams are actually not taking the Lions as a joke and are really preparing and knowing it's going to be a game. So, Foster, does this game concern you at all? I know it's the second game of the season.
Right.
But it's no reason for to be concerned during the second game of the season. But doesn't concern you though.
No, I'm actually pretty comfortable going into this game. The game we played last year in Tampa Bay, we beat them by a few scores, and that was out without Jahmyr Gibbs. And this time around, I mean, all things suggest that we'll handle business today. They are very banged up right now. And historically, Jared Goff has performed very, very well against the Bucs. So, we're at home. It's going to be loud and electric. And I just feel like there's not too many worries in my head about us coming up short today.
Let me ask you something that I know I should have asked you earlier, and I haven't looked. So this is why I'm asking. Do you have any injury report, any notables?
Yeah, so as far as you're talking about the Bucs, the Lions,
I don't care about the Bucs. I'm talking about the Lions.
Oh, the Lions. Okay, so the 2 players that we have out this week is Marcus Davenport is doubtful, so more than likely, I think that you don't push him to play in the first. I know.
We were warned about that, right?
Yes. His durability has been a question.
Shout out to Dave, man. He's
a
Minnesota Vikings guy. He told us when he's not 100%, he doesn't play.
Right. Yeah. But
I don't know if that's the case this time, but
yeah, and like I said, he's doubtful, but my instinct says that he'll miss at least one game. But Dan Campbell sounded pretty confident with who he had. I mean, I think he really likes the versatility we have on the defensive on the defensive line. Guys like Pascal, Mingo, and Pecco, guys like that are pretty. They can play inside and out. So I think that we have a nice little rotation. It sounds like James Houston will not be activated for this game.
Okay. Finish that point, and I got a question about that guy.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that he's pretty content and comfortable with the guys that he has to fit that to fill in. Obviously, Levi Onwuzurike had a pretty good game, so he's content and happy with how he's bounced back. But and then we also have one of the most unblockable edges in the entire league. He had an amazing win rate, an amazing win rate off the edge last game. And I think that, and DJ Reader is playing today. Let's not forget about that.
That was my next question.
I almost forgot to mention that part of it. Yes, DJ Reader will be active, and I'm excited to let him work because they are going to have to double that man, and he's going to eat up a lot of blockers and make things easier for everybody. So I am really excited now that I just remembered that part.
I look forward to Aleem to have a better day because I don't think I heard his name last week. But I know D tackles, they have one job, and that's to draw double teams and cause havoc in the middle. And sometimes you don't hear your name called as often as you would at edge. And I want to say Davenport played very well last week. He was pressuring the quarterback, and it was like, you seen what could happen when Hutch gets some help. And Hutch he just has a motor, man. That guy just doesn't stop. Now, Mr. Houston, I saw captions. I didn't click, but I read something in one of the captions, like that kind of depicted how Campbell felt, and I want to know if you feel the same way. It says he kind of like drew his line in the sand when it comes to Houston as far as playing. Can you chime in on what they're talking about with Houston?
Wait, what was the line draw? Do you have a quote or
I don't
paraphrase?
Have a quote. I'm paraphrasing. It was very negative towards Dan Campbell's faith in Houston playing this week, and I'm not sure if he meant going. I don't know if it's this week or towards going the season, but it was not a good thing that I read, and I just refused to click on it.
Well, so I think that Dan Campbell is very blunt and very transparent about how he feels about his players. He was very critical of Jamison Williams last year. That he just wasn't ready to shoulder the load of a heavy target amount, and Jamison Williams had to put in that work to get to a point of comfortability for everybody. I think that Dan Campbell really likes James Houston and is willing to give him as many opportunities, even if it means moving him to the Sam linebacker position. I think he really wants things to work with him, but I don't think that he is pleased with what he's seen in practice. And although he is a great pass rusher, he's all about versatility and guys that can do a variety of things. And he's not going to put you in the active lineup to play the role of third down pass rusher. I think he's not comfortable with holding a full roster spot, an active spot for a guy that is pigeonholed into one particular.
Well, you don't want that. It's predictability. If you just play basically showing your hand, if you got a pass rush specialist and that's all he can do, and you put him in there, okay, what he's not dropping back into coverage. He's not concerned with the run. You know what I'm saying? You're just showing your hand, so you need versatility at that spot. So
Yeah,
So,
I mean, whereas Josh Pascal will probably never have 9 sacks in a year, whether it's in 8 games or 17 games. I think that what's much more important is that he can cover several bases and play a variety of roles that creates that deception of, what is he going to bring on this particular play? It could be a variety of things. So I think that's where they're at with James Houston. I think that he'll get an opportunity just because of numbers and injuries, and hopefully he can make an impact. But it is disappointing that he hasn't been active, because it's kind of like, he could have that could have been somebody else's spot if they weren't going to utilize him. So full year though, we'll see where we're at in December. We'll see where we're at in January. You know
there
what I mean?
was a guy that didn't make the cut that was more productive. I'm not gonna say his name, but it is.
I don't even know. Well, yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about.
You remember that end that was making all those plays in preseason?
God, I forgot about him that fast. Yeah.
He's undersized, but he was making plays.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So I was wondering, if you're not going to use Houston, and just to your point, that's somebody that could have used that spot that would have been productive. I don't know what's going on. I don't know the full story. All I know,
he could fall in the same category of,
you never know.
Strictly edge,
You never know what's going on.
Yeah, where is he? Is he on the practice squad, or is he?
I think he made the practice squad.
Oh, okay.
So. Maybe. I'm not sure. But all we know is the surface. We don't know what's going on in practice. We don't know what's going on in the locker room. All we can do is speculate. And I have second-guessed Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell enough and proven wrong on so many occasions that some stuff I just got to say, okay.
Right.
I trust what they're doing.
Yeah.
I promise you, this next draft, I'm going to just sit back and enjoy it.
Please. It will be in the 30s again. We'll be in the 28s and all that.
I don't mind that. I don't mind it. I don't mind.
Yeah,
you know what? It's so much talent in the NFL draft. It's not like the NBA draft. We got 7 rounds in that thing.
That's true.
So it's so much talent. You know what I'm saying? And you can find talent in the 4th round.
You can find talent in.
Wait, hold on. What are you talking about there? What are you on there, pal?
Talent in the undrafted free agent pool as well. So
that's slow down there, Foster.
That's how.
You had a birthday the other day.
No.
Yeah, but you can find talent in like the 5th round. So I'm not worried about a 30th pick. Do you see the talent that was going after
Terrion Arnold? We got Terrion Arnold.
I mean, we got Terrion Arnold, and then the talent that got drafted after we picked in the 1st round.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So Xavier Worthy went after Terrion Arnold. You know what I'm saying?
Went in the 3rd, didn't, or was he just the last pick in the?
He might have been the last pick of the 1st or beginning of the 2nd. He was after Terrion Arnold, though.
For sure.
So there's talent. There will be talent. So it is what it is as far as that. We're going to take a quick break, and then I want you to think about this, Foster, before we come back.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Tampa Bay. We're going to talk about Tampa Bay a little bit and their inactives.
Yeah.
So I haven't paid much attention to them, but if you're listening, you will be hearing some ads. If you're watching, give us about 10 seconds. We'll be right back. I haven't done much research on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know Wakefield's there. I know Mike Evans is there. That's about it as far as that. And I'm hearing that Mr. Davis, our corner, has this game circled. So
shocker.
Yes, I'm hearing that. So, which is good. But can you tell us something about the inactives there in Tampa Bay? Who's inactive? Who's not playing for them today?
All right, so they have Kalijah Cansey, who was drafted last year in the 1st round. He's a defensive end for them. He is going to be out. Antoine Winfield has been in a walking boot all week. He is out. Actually, they've lost 3 cornerbacks just this week. They signed Bryce Hall at corner. He's on the IR currently, so he's going to miss the next at least 4 games. Josh Hayes is out. I think that's a safety though.
Okay.
And then Zion McCollum is I want to say he's questionable, but he left the game last week with a concussion. So they are very beat up on the in the secondary right now. They already didn't have a very strong secondary. They obviously will be out without Carlton Davis, who they traded away. But they do have Dean. What's his name? Nakobe? No, it's not Nakobe Dean.
He plays for the Philly.
Yeah, not Nakobe Dean. It's another Dean that plays cornerback for the Buccaneers. He'll be active today.
Okay. They need somebody.
Yeah.
We'll give him a corner.
Oh, Jamel Dean.
Okay.
So he's one of their better corners, but yeah, they're real banged up at that position. Jared Goff has averaged in his career over 400 yards passing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So he has had their number, his entire career since he's been in LA even. So I think that is what is going to be. I think that their strength is definitely on their line and in their linebacker position. They have Vita Vea. They have Levante David up the middle. So I think they're usually pretty rough on against the run, but I'm really looking forward to Amon-Ra St. Brown bouncing back, Jared Goff bouncing back, and Tim Patrick and Kennedy were elevated to the active roster this week. So I'm just looking for the pass game. I'm looking for Sam Laporta to bounce back as well. So, yeah.
Oh man, I got so many questions about that. Okay. I know Tim Patrick, and this is just opinion based. It has nothing to do with facts. No ironclad facts or anything. Just his opinion. Now, this is just my take on it. Tim Patrick was elevated to the active roster, correct?
Yes.
Like Tom Kennedy.
Yes.
And I think they've done that because of the lack of production from Khalif Raymond in that slot. I think they want a bigger receiver.
Yeah.
And I think they want to I know they have packages for Khalif Raymond as far as his concerns and what his specialty is, but I just didn't see him as that third receiver. Now, in my opinion, I think St. Brown is better served in the slot.
Absolutely.
You got J-Mo, and then you have that other receiver, which I think Patrick would be more suited for, the number 2, with St. Brown in the slot.
Yeah.
Primarily. So, and they run 3 wide receiver sets more than in NFL, period, more than anything.
Yeah. Certainly more often than fullback in the backfield. So
for sure. And then you have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think last game was just one of those days. I don't think any less of him. I just think he had a 4-catch, 13-yard day that you probably won't see again this season.
No.
I think, and he's liable to have 20 catches today to make his average not 20, but
it'll even out the
he'll probably have like double-digit catches today.
Yeah. And
it'll even out the average, like, okay, between 2 games, he had 16 catches. Okay. That's a nice amount. And because you can't keep him quiet. But I also think that last game they schemed against it. They made sure that Amon-Ra St. Brown wasn't going to beat them. And when you do that, you let one of the dogs loose.
Yeah, I was going to say, we see how that worked.
You're not. I don't think, and I think, like I said, I don't think you're going to take that chance. One thing about your defense, like nickel and diamond is one thing, but giving up the big play is disheartening. It's a shocker to your defense. Like it scares D-backs. It makes you think twice. It's a blow to the chest. Like it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't
Especially
want to
when
give
you're
up
on the
chunk plays.
road.
Yeah.
You
You don't
know,
want to give up chunk plays. I rather, if I'm a defense, nickel and dime me to death, I'll take my chances with that than giving up a 30, 40-yard play.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just rather you got to earn it. You're gonna get your 6-yard pass plays, and I'm going to punish your wide receivers when they catch it and keep them in front of me.
Yeah.
That's it. But I'm not going to scheme against St. Brown and let this young Thundercat run wild.
I think they just took their chances and said, "Well, we'll see what J-Mo's got," because we know who has the track record and who is in
Oh
who
yeah,
has
I mean
been.
you gotta going into last week. J-Mo had never done this before.
Right.
We don't know if he's capable of doing this.
Right.
So we're going to scheme against the person we know is there every week. We're going to take away their best weapon, and we'll take our chances with the rookie. I mean, with the third-year player, because we don't know what he can do.
Right.
They can't do that no more.
They did a good job on Laporta too, though. If there was a game plan to allow others to beat you and not be beat by the Pro Bowl guys, they succeeded in that aspect of
well
things.
in the receiving portion of the game, you took out the top 2 players on the roster as far as production last year.
Mm-hmm.
You schemed for that.
Yeah.
But you only have 11 men on the field. Right. So somebody's going to be left alone. Somebody's going to be left one-on-one. And that when you do, I think they called a penalty because my man was holding. He got him with the route. It was still wide open. He tried to hold him.
Yeah.
It still was wide open and caught the ball. That's how he beat him. It was crazy. It's crazy. But that's what J-Mo does. That's exactly what J-Mo does. And I think what you have to do is you can't scheme against one person. You got to play the Lions honest and just hope you make more plays defensively than they make offensively, and you hope your offense scores. That's what you got to do to beat the Lions.
It's going to be tough to do with third-string corners out there, so good luck.
It's going to be tough to do. And then the Lions do have a young secondary. They're going to have to grow up fast because they're going to be tested, especially today. And I think it's good for them, though. I think it's good for them because I think by the end of the season, you'll see a different young secondary. I think you'll see. I think it's going to help. But if they learn too early, people are in trouble. I mean, if you think about it, they're going. There were a lot of people saying, "Well, you guys, these young corners are getting torched." How many times have you seen Cooper Kupp have a performance like that yesterday? It was happening at a high clip.
Yeah. And
it wasn't like he had 200 yards. He had 110 receiving yards on 14 catches.
Yeah, a lot of catches.
I give you that. If that's Cooper Kupp, I'll live with that stat on some young corners. You got 14 catches and 110 yards. I'll live with that. That you can't say he had a bunch of explosive plays. He had some catches. He moved the sticks. I get that. But they moved the sticks in the first half and they only scored 3 points. So moving the sticks is one thing. You know what I'm saying? Giving up touchdowns and like that is a whole different thing. So I think today will be a good day for the Lions. I'm looking very forward to see what the defense does. Last week, there was a couple of plays they gave up on the run, but for the most part, the run was pretty stout, Foster. Did you see what I saw?
Yeah. I didn't see any, eye gouging numbers or plays, and they got a pretty tough running back. So
Yeah.
I'm pleased.
And I'm going to say this, though. If the Lions can run the ball against this defense, if Montgomery can be productive and Gibbs can be productive against this defense, and their specialty is run defense, it's going to be a long season for opposing teams.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long season for opposing teams. Have you paid attention to who our rivals are playing?
Man, we talked about this. I think the Vikings play the Texans. Is that or
The
Bears?
Vikings play San Francisco.
San Francisco. The Bears play the Texans, maybe.
The Bears play the Texans.
And Green Bay plays
the Titans.
Do they?
I think so.
No, Malik Willis against his old team.
Yeah, I
I
think
didn't
so.
think about that.
I think so. And I'm hearing
that game's gonna be terrible. Oh my god.
I'm hearing Malik Wilson has looked. What's his name? Malik what?
Willis.
Malik Willis has looked good in practice this week.
Okay.
He had a great week of practice.
Good for him. I'm just saying that's good. Hey.
Yeah. I want to see if he does better versus the Titans than Caleb.
Yeah.
I want to see this. I want to see if he does better. I'm not gonna watch any other games at one. I'm not gonna change the channel. I'm gonna watch
too, man.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch the commercials. Everything. I'm not changing the Lions channel when they play at 1:00. That's it. I'll pay attention to the other scores on ESPN ticker or something like that. Yep. But I'm not watching no other games. So, also, I ain't want to jump off into baseball, but Tigers dropped one yesterday and made me mad. But that's the Orioles, though. The Orioles are pretty good.
Tough.
And after one hitting them the night before, I mean, you got a feeling. Are they playing here or are they playing in Baltimore?
No. Here. It's good. It's gonna be crazy downtown.
It's gonna be lit today. What time is the baseball game? 7?
12. No. Sundays are always day games. It's 12.
Are you kidding me? They have a Lions and a Tigers.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said I gotta peek. I gotta peek over there too because we are.
Yeah, you cover both, so you have to.
Yeah.
And for those that are listening, there's going to be a show. I don't know when you're doing your show.
We might do it. We might do it tonight. It's either going to be tonight or tomorrow evening. It just kind of depends on the schedules.
Okay. Foster covers Detroit Tigers baseball, Corner to Copa on this very channel. Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. Yep. And also you can find Corner to Copa on any of the podcast aggregators. Just type in Corner to Copa and follow and subscribe, whatever do what you got to do as far as those platforms so you can hear the podcast that Foster and Coach brings on. They do a pretty dope job. I can't possibly follow baseball. It's 162 games. Not saying they do a show after every game, but they've been doing a lot of shows lately because of the race that's heating up. There's only 10 more games?
A little more than that, but you're not far off.
Yeah, it's double-digit games. It's less than 20 games left. I will say that.
For sure.
And the Tigers are how many games back from that wild card spot?
I want to say the 3.5 back. They had an opportunity to gain another game because the Twins got spanked again last night, but because we lost, we hold steady. Or we might have lost the game.
I thought it was at 3.
It might be 3. Yeah, it might have gone from 3.5 to 3. That might be correct.
Okay, so I'm not sure. But if you really want to know, just watch the show or listen to the show. Foster them. He'll have all the information when it's time.
2.5 still. Okay, so we held steady because
they both lost, right?
Yeah, but I think technically, right, and I think technically it's 3.5 because the Twins hold the tiebreaker. So, in a sense, you always have to think about the fact that it's always one up from what you see. So 2.5 in a literal sense, and I think 3.5 in a technical, or the other way around.
Yeah, shout out to you, man. You cover basketball, baseball, and football.
Ain't much going on in basketball right now.
Oh, it will be though. Shout out to Post Game Podcast. You can check us out there too. Detroit Pistons basketball. I think we're in for a better season, and that's not saying much compared to last season. But hey, it is what it is. Today, Tampa Bay versus the Lions. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll come back and finish up. Let's see, where's this doggone thing? Okay. Let's see. What time is Green Bay, Minnesota, and the Bears playing today?
I feel like those are all East Coast games. They should be.
I know the Vikings are at home. I do know. I don't know where the Bears are playing, and I don't know where the Green Bay is playing. I don't know. Anyway, the 49ers are without CMC. And they might be out without him for a long time, but the backup was very, very serviceable that first game.
Yeah, we'll see how.
We'll see if that holds up.
A little bit more film on him now.
Yeah. But I also think, Foster, if you have that kind of offensive line and you put a capable back there, they're gonna do what you need to do. And I'm not saying your second string is only as good as your first string. That's not what I'm saying. And everybody's not Christian McCaffrey. Let's just start there. Nobody. But if you got an offensive line, you got a chance. If you got a good run by, you put a capable back there, they'll do just enough. And then you got Deebo Samuels who does everything. He runs the ball, he catches, that offense is still clicking. That offense is still clicking. Defensively, they're underrated as far as I'm concerned. I never give them credit, but they play pretty good defense as well. So I think it's going to be a tough game for Minnesota. Minnesota had a breakout game that first game. They're very happy in Viking land, despite of what happened to J.J. McCarthy. Sam Darnold was projected to be the starter anyway, at least to start the season. And he had a good game. He had a good game game one. I've always said that Sam Darnold left college too early. I think he needed another year because he was that guy his last year at USC. He did a remarkable job. He had the arm talent, and he went to the Jets. That's
never good.
That's never good, right? It's never good. So, that happened, and people basically left him for dead. He got traded to Carolina. That's never good. I mean, you see what Bryce is going through right now in Carolina. You know what I'm saying? So it's just tough. It's just tough for him. But I think he's a capable quarterback in the NFL, and he went to a spot where they have a lot of weapons. They got weapons. JJ, Addison. I don't want to give him too much credit because this is a Lions show.
Yeah, not too much. Not too much.
I think I'll stop there. But yeah, they have a pretty good offense. And the only question was the round bellies. Can they protect him? So they expect the top 5 defense.
Yo, a little much.
So it's just like the Bears' top 5 defense. I mean, the Bears they both play good defense week one. Does watching those 3 teams play, are you of any concern going into the season versus those people, those teams in particular?
I mean, any apprehension that I might have about the Packers, obviously they don't have their starting quarterback.
Right.
As far as the Vikings and Bears, I didn't watch a ton of them, but the Bears are not going to be able to lean on their defense scoring and special teams scoring a whole bunch of touchdowns, so they're going to have to figure something out. On the offensive side of the ball, and the Vikings, it's like, Darnold looked good, later, as the game progressed, but it's still Sam Darnold. So, and Jordan Addison's been, if it's not legal issues that he's having issues with, I think he's out for this game. I'm pretty sure he's hurt. So, I mean, they have a pretty, lengthy. They're pretty deep at receiver. So
Yeah.
they probably won't have as many issues. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see today. We'll see today.
Yeah, I mean the Giants are a far cry from a contender.
Yeah, between the Giants and the Titans, could it have started any easier for you guys? Like,
yeah, I mean it's like those are lackluster teams, and I do think that when it comes to defenses, speaking as far as the Bears, with any team, your defense can only take you so far. If your offense isn't moving the ball, you're going to put your defense on the field a lot. You may even put them in awkward positions, you know what I'm saying, as far as field position. Having to punt from your own territory and they're getting the ball at the 40 or 50, that's just a recipe for disaster. Now, a lot of people will say, well, what about the 85 Bears or 80, whatever year that was?
Even the team with Hester, the only issue with that is that Hester ain't walking through that door, and neither is Brian Urlacher. So,
yeah, and the crazy thing about that, and I'm gonna say this, on that Bears team, you have Walter Payton. He was rushing for 100 yards a clip. So you can say the offense was dismal, but they had Walter Payton. He got tough yardage. And then as far as with Rex Grossman in 2016 team, whatever that was.
It was 06. I think that was nice.
It was one of those years. It's one of those years. I can't remember. But you can only go so far. You need a balance on both. You need an offense that can move the ball, and you need a defense. I don't care how good your defense is. Your offense has to score. It has to be a threat. There's one more thing I wanted to bring up, Foster, before we get out of here.
What's up?
Do you think that the lack of preseason play hurts the offense? Any team. You can specifically look at ours because that's my theory on the slow start last week with Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think without playing a lick of preseason games, because I looked at Kansas City as the model, right? Mahomes played just about in every preseason game. Like he was in there and more than one series. Versus the Lions, he played like almost the first half and looked sharp doing so. But what do you think? Do you think that has anything to do with with teams starting off slow, and more particularly the Lions? Do you think that had anything to do with last week's offense?
Yeah, I think it does. I thought that we would see I thought we would see more struggles in the secondary and on the defensive side more so than the offense, because the offense is pretty much the same. Outside of, the offense is pretty much the same offensive line. Brown was here last year. J-Mo was here last year. Laporta was here last year. Montgomery, Gibbs, all those guys played together. But yeah, I think there's something to be said about the fact that the Chiefs, who had everything, playing their stars in the preseason after winning a Super Bowl, said, it says a lot about where they thought their offense might be had they not played as much as they did in the preseason. And they saw that they lost to the Lions last year in the first game. So they didn't want to come out the gate flat again this year. So yeah, I think there is something to be said about having to make an adjustment to actual live, real football. And the beauty in it all is that despite the fact that it probably did hold us back in game one, we still won.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's logic into why they don't play their starters.
Yeah, for sure.
I understand the logic. I do think the reps do help though. And I think going into the season, the way they're looking at it is the risk is not worth the reward. The juice just isn't worth the squeeze.
Man.
Like why risk why risk my people getting hurt early in a meaningless game when we can warm up during this, you know what I'm saying, 2 or 3 games in, we're back to where we need to be as far as running. We'll take our chances that everybody else has to do the same thing, because it wasn't just the Lions. You know, it's other teams that are not playing their starters. So I would take my chances as well. I do think we're not going to see lights out football from an offensive or defensive standpoint in game 1 or 2 if your starters haven't played in preseason at all. And I'll take that. I'll take that. Starting off 1-0, and remember last season we were very, very high on the Lions after beating Kansas City and dropped 1 to Seattle in game 2. And looked very bad versus Seattle defensive coverage-wise. The tight ends got crazy on us versus Seattle last year.
Oh, my God.
It was so frustrating.
It's bad.
It was bad. It was bad. And we started off 1-1. So I started to hear and I started to see online in the middle of the game, same old Lions.
Why do you even pay attention to these people?
I can't help it, because it's hilarious, Foster.
I can't even.
I got a buddy of mine. I've known this guy, and I hope he's watching and hearing. I've known this guy since we were grade school, and I'm talking 3rd or 4th grade. And he quit watching a preseason game versus Kansas City because he was tired of seeing the same old Lions.
These people would be so deep in the trash of my timeline, I would forget they exist, because that is utter trash.
That, bro, it's like, what would possess you to just quit enjoying football out of frustration in a preseason game? I can see if the football had been going on and you just, you don't want to watch it, but we had went months without football. Preseason is here. Enjoy the game. Relax. I remember that day chilling out with your family during the preseason game, watching the preseason game, just enjoying it for what it is. Right. Just missing football. I didn't get mad because they were losing and turning the channel. Just like I'm not going to do it during the regular season. Unless it's a blowout. If it's 49-0 in the 3rd quarter, I'm not watching.
You're cutting that off.
Yeah, I'm cutting that off. And it's not because, and I'm not going to say same old Lions. It's just like you lost the game.
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
Man, it is what it is. The Lions are not going to go undefeated. It's just chances. I mean, and most teams don't. I think it's been one team ever in the history.
The Dolphins and then the Patriots lost in the Super Bowl.
But they lost in the Super Bowl. So it doesn't mean. So I don't care about losses during the regular season. I just want to win the division at some point or earn a wild card game. That's it. And win in the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl. You will not hear me say same old Lions unless we go like 2-13, 2-15. But I seriously doubt it. Seriously doubt it. This team is under a new regime. I love the direction. I haven't felt like this about the Lions as far as direction, as far as a head coach. Every head coach that has been here since I can remember have always been on shaky ground with me. Always. What was the head coach? Wayne Fonts. When Barry was here, I wasn't sold on Wayne Fonts.
Right.
I just knew we had Barry, and you had a chance with Barry.
Right.
Every coach after that was worse than Wayne Fonts, and I wasn't sold on Wayne.
And you wasn't sold on him.
What was it, Bobby Ross? Schwartz. I'm just throwing them out there in order, not in order, but Mariucci.
Patricia, of course. Caldwell.
Now Caldwell was different, but at the same time,
I was thinking like Caldwell did some things.
I was confident with Caldwell, and I thought he was fired prematurely. But at the same time, I didn't feel this comfortable. I didn't feel that comfortable with Caldwell as I do Campbell.
Hey, I use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah, let's just get out of here, bro.
Yeah.
So subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers. Foster has to use the bathroom.
Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't
quick break.
I didn't even stop it.